it's a matter of, I mean, you're somebody that's good at applying yourself to working your way through things and dealing with detail, and that's what you're going to have to do next year. It can be done. I don't see that this is a problem. It's just you've been going through a phase where things have been very erratic for you, and something around you is not as simple and straightforward as it seems. You've got some complication there, obviously, and it's your affair. What I would say to you about that is that you need to look at this situation again and look at it objectively and try and work out if everybody's being straight with you. However, having said that, I can't see any reason why you can't push these situations forward and sort out difficulties in the next 3 months. Come Christmas, I think things will be much more settled for you.
Good luck to you, Kevin. I hope it all works out. Thank you. Wish you well. Bye-bye. Lucy's in Belfast. She's called up. She said, I demand to speak to Daniel Strafford. She used this number, 08704 20 20 20. Hello, Lucy.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Dan.
Hi.
We need to have a date of birth for you, Lucy, and then your question, please.
Well, just general. The 31st of the 3rd, 48.
Okay.
So, I think so. A lot of emphasis on the family and the home this year, then?
I don't know. Right now I'm paralysed in grief.
I'm sorry?
Right now I'm paralysed in grief.
I see. Well, it's been a bit erratic then.
Yeah, my husband died just over a year ago.
Gosh, that was very tough. That's very tough.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about moving home?
No.
No. I think it's probably the wisest thing, but I just wondered if that thought had crossed your mind.
No.
What house number are you living at?
95.
95. Right. That makes sense. Where you are at the moment there's a lot of emphasis of protection around you, which helps. I mean, nothing protects you from those kind of disasters, but it is helping to find some balance. Next year is a year when things are going to be even quieter than they've been this year. It's rather important that next year that you look at things objectively and don't let the emotional side of things get to you. Have you thought about travelling at all next year or going somewhere?
Well, I always got to do that. I've got 2 sons that live abroad.
Well, I think the more time you spend with them next year, the better, because the travelling will help you, and also the family comfort situation will help you. So you'll be able to find a better balance for yourself next year than it's been possible in the short term. One never recovers from these situations, but one does find a better level, and next year is the opportunity to find a better level. After that, life will begin to stabilise even more, and I see no reason why. I suppose you might even think in the long term about going to live where one of your sons lives.
No.
You don't think so? Well, no. I still think there's some possibility in the long term that you might go and spend some time in another country. I'm not saying specifically that you go and live there permanently, but you might go and spend some time in another country. I would see that as being quite successful for you.
Okay, quite quickly, is there anything about the number 3 related to me?
Yeah, there's a lot of emphasis of 3 around you, and it's to do with some creative or communicative skill that you've got, and it might be something for you to look at in terms of development. The more that you move towards doing creative things or dealing with people or doing something communicative, the better balance you're going to have in your own life.
Well, I am very creative. That's what I do. But my husband was born on the 3rd. He died at a house called number 3. I was born on 31st of the 3rd.
And you're born in 1948.
Yeah.
Which has some relevance to it again, interestingly enough.
The 3s are starting to get to me.
Well, I think the fact that you have a lot of 3s around you suggests that it's very important that you make full use of the creative talent and ability that you've got, because that's what the numbers are telling you to do, or that's what the gods are telling you to do, to make use of your creative talents and abilities, because this is something that can bring something extra to your life, especially in what I would consider to be difficult circumstances.
Thanks, Lucy. Daniel Strafford's with us. If you'd like to speak to Daniel off the air in a more private and contained arrangement, then why not? But you'll need this number. It's 07796 141451. I had quite a few people listening to us in the car who want to ask you a question, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
So here's one from Craig from Birmingham. He said, I'm not having a good time at the moment. No girlfriend, no job. Can you help? So what I suspect Craig's looking for is a swing in circumstances.
Yeah.
He was born on the 5th of the 9th, 1974.
Mm. Yes. So, well, 5, yes. From next month onwards, it's all change. He's gone. Craig, you've been going through a very tough year, especially from June till now, and there may even be a problem around you this month that's come back to hit you rather hard. It is temporary. It's nowhere near as bad as you think it is. And once we get to the 5th of October, all of these problems that you've had around you recently, all of these blocks will begin to clear away. As far as the love life is concerned, I should think you're going to have them banging on the door next year, so I think it's a matter of being selective. But that's very interesting. Work-wise, everything will change. You've got to be in a situation where there's flexibility, because you're not suited to a tight structure. It's getting better, Craig. 5th of October, that's the date to look out for.
Gary is on the M25 driving to Plymouth, and he pulled over to send us a little email. He said, I was born on the 20th of the 11th, 72, and it's about his love life. The 20th of the 11th, 1972. Having a bit of trouble with the heart.
Mm.
And I don't mean health.
No, indeed. No. Yes, it's very complicated at the moment. It's very, very complicated. 34. Well, in fact, it's very tough at the moment. All I can say to you, Gary, is these situations, the only way you're going to solve these problems as far as the emotional life is concerned is through adjustment on your part. If you can find some way to adjust to the circumstances, you can find solutions here. If you can't find a way to adjust to the circumstances that are being presented to you, then maybe you need to think about moving in another direction. However, what I would say is that I don't think these situations are going to clear away quickly. I think, unfortunately, you've got to go through another little period. I think we need to be looking towards the end of next year in order to see a final solution to this. However, if you find ways to adjust within these situations and keep on top of the details, you will find that you'll come out of it, even though it'll be hard work in the short term. The important thing here is to look to the long term and see this as a project that you've got to work on. That way you can find solutions.
Well, that was incredibly detailed. Well done. There's a lot of information, very dense, Dan. It's credible.
We're trying our best here.
Round of applause. Brendan's got in touch with the programme. He's in Sunbury-on-Thames. Hello, Brendan.
Hi there.
Hello there. What's your date of birth, Brendan?
Date of birth is 22nd of the 5th, 75.
OK, well, Dan's here. He needs to have a question from you. What would it be?
OK, Doc. It's just about work and love, because I haven't got a girlfriend or a job at the moment. And I'm just wondering.
Right. Yes. Well, neither area is particularly good at the moment, is it?
No.
The work thing is the most worrying, because that is a situation that obviously is going to affect everything in the long term, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Maybe you've been working in the wrong area, Brendan, and you need to review this.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Had you thought about doing something else?
Yes, I have done.
Yeah. And is there study involved?
Yes.
Do you need to do a course or something like that?
Yes.
Next year's the time for it, Brendan.
Okay.
That is your project for 2007. Study.
Yeah.
That is going to produce some kind of result that will allow you to get into this other area.
Yes.
If you pursue that next year, then come 2008, this will all open up for you, and you will be able to pursue it and get your life going again.
Yes.
I think that it's almost as if, it sounds a bit violent, but it's almost as if you've hit the buffers.
Yeah.
And from my point of view, I think to myself, well, how can he get out of this? And this is not a great time for getting out of it. But it is a great time for study, especially if it's in view to do something else in the long term. So what you need to do is to get stuck into that, and I mean, you'll find study will come to you quite easily next year. It's a good year for learning, so it's going to be very beneficial as far as that's concerned. And then when we get to 2008, you've got these wonderful aspects to build something really big. I mean, you've got great potential, Brendan.
Yeah.
The problem is that I think you've not been in the right area, and there's been a lot blocking you one way and another. But I see no reason why you can't build something really big. And if the study that you're thinking about, if you pursue that next year, that will lay the foundation for you to really take off come 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck to you. Thanks very much, Brendan. Right, Steve is on the M1, and he said, Dan, will I ever be successful at anything? He's born on the 1st of the 11th, 1962.
Yes, I can see why he's feeling a bit low with all of this at the moment. Oh yes, I mean I think what Steve needs to do is to find the balance between pushing and not pushing enough. I think what he tends to do is to vacillate between being pushy and then not being pushy enough, and he needs to find the balance between the two. And I think also at the moment things are terribly, terribly slow. He feels as though there's no way forward. It is just slow at the moment, Steve. A little bit of patience. I mean, you like to move, and unfortunately this is not a great moving forward time. Just show a bit more patience, and you'll find that come December, things will begin to move forward for you. It is slow, it's very irritating, and it's probably demanding great patience on your part. But don't be downhearted, because next year is much brighter and is much faster paced. Try and hang on in there and find the balance between pushing and not pushing. If you can get that balance right, there's no reason why you can't go all the way.
Thanks, Steve. Daniel Strafford's with us. You're listening to talkSPORT. I'm Mike Allen. Right the way through until 6 o'clock this morning when I change into somebody else. And
again?
And Ian Collins and Chessie are back tomorrow. That's what I had as the absolute latest news. So let's talk, if we can actually. We've got about 4 minutes before the news. Scott is in Glasgow. Hello, Scott.
Hi, Scott. Mike.
No, yeah. So, I need to have your date of birth, Scott.
My date of birth is the 3rd of May, 1970.
Okay, and Dan's here. What would you like to ask him?
Hi, Dan. I would like to ask just a general reading, but I'd like to know as well if there's possibilities of any new friendships.
Yes, well, this year has been a very quiet year for you, Scott. And you've tended to feel somewhat alone, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes. It is a fate. The reason why you felt alone this year is that you've got to find some balance with yourself. So, if you like, you've been allowed to be on your own in order to look at yourself and find other things, find other resources, inner resources within yourself, and make use of them. I think finances are not been good at the moment either, have they?
No.
No, but we will come into a better phase. I think you're feeling tired and run down at the moment. It's rather important that you get plenty of rest, because I think you're paying the price for things that have happened in the past, and it's hit you a bit hard at the moment. However, once we get into October, I think this heaviness, this slowness will begin to pass away, and you'll begin to feel less tired. There are opportunities around you, but you need to think about them. This is not a time for jumping the gun. The time for things to take off for you is from about the 5th of February next year. That's the strong point. So if opportunities are around you between now and then, what I would say to you is, look, don't rush them, think them through, and don't do anything impulsive. As far as the emotional life is concerned, I think that once you get into next year and things start to move forward, so your confidence will rise, and that will present you with opportunities. You're very good with people when you set your mind to it, Scott, so it's just a matter of getting your confidence back up. You probably felt a bit depressed this year. It's going to pass. You'll feel better next year.
Yes, because I've spent the last 10 years with having like bad panic attacks.
Yeah.
And I've lost out on a lot of friends because I can't manage to get out as much.
Right, but I think you'll find it easier next year, Scott, because this heavy aspect will pass away. But you need to be doing something where you can communicate with people. You've got to get out, Scott. The most important thing is to get out and be with people. The more you're with people, the better you're going to be, and the less you're going to suffer the panic attacks. You've got to try and work your way through this. But you can do it next year. I appreciate the moment it's very, very tough. Next year, from the 5th of February onwards, you can do this. So you've got to make the effort. If you make the effort, you'll see tremendous results. It's as simple as that.
Thanks for your call. Wish you well, Scott. Thanks very much indeed. Russ, we're going to be talking after the news. I've got to pause in just a minute, but I just want to know you're next. So whatever you do, don't decide to do anything like wash the car or whatever. Okay?
Thanks very much.
Okay, you're most welcome. Daniel Strafford's with me. You're listening to talkSPORT on 10:53, 10:89 a.m. We're looking at things from a numerologist's point of view. Yeah. If you'd like this amazing man to help you in some decision-making, it's 08704 20 20 20. 08704 20 20 20. Or you can call his office on 07796 141451. 07796 141451. This is... Do you know you've done an extraordinary amount of people, Dan? You must have done about 14, 15 people.
16 already.
Would you like to do a little bit more for us?
I'll try my best, Mike.
Your best. He's a lovely bloke. Right, we'll also be looking at a few of the developing stories in today's papers a little bit later on. And apart from that, an opportunity to find out why it is the Australians are so much better at sport than we are. We talked to a man who was so fascinated with the concept, he went to Australia just to find out how they do it. And he'll be sharing that with us the hour after next. That, and of course, the recipe for cherry pie. I'm Mike Allen. This is talkSPORT. Good morning. Keep it here. If you'd like to speak to Daniel Strafford, this is your gateway. The number to use is 08704 20 20 20, or you can text me on 81089, and do remember that carries a 50p surcharge. 81089, or email talksport.net.
On 1089 and 1053 AM.
I declare that the person elected
Around the world.
We need to build a bridge.
Around the clock.
What is moral about that?
From the Sky News Centre. talkSPORT on the Hour News.
The top stories from the Sky News Centre at 2.
On 1089 and 1053 AM. talkSPORT.
Daniel Strafford's with us. We're talking about numerology, but relating it to you. So if there's decision-making going on, providing we're not talking health matters, if there's decision-making going on, then, of course, use the original number 08704 20 20 20. Women are joining the AA, supplying roadside assistance. We're going to have to talk about that later on. How does that get on, Dan, with some heavy lifting and stuff like that?
By a woman any day, Mike.
Sorry?
I'd be rescued by a woman any day.
Russ is in Lichfield, as you know, and he wants to have a chat with you. Hello, Russ. Daniel's here. What would you like to ask him, and do you have a date of birth for us?
I hope so.
Yes, so do I.
Well, it was just sort of a general thing, but just quickly, I heard someone talking about threes, coincident, a lot of threes. I've got a spooky amount of threes in my... Well, I was born on the 3rd, for starters.
Is there any chance you can give us your date of birth?
It's the 3rd of January, 76.
Okay.
Right.
I was at in 1993, I was 17. I was pulled up by the police. Now I was in some trouble. Nothing serious. It was basically driving offences, and that was on the 23rd of November '93, and then in 2003, on the 23rd of January, I got 3 points and £60 fine with a speed camera, and on the 23rd of March in the same year, 2 months down to the same day, I had the exact same thing on a different speed camera. I had a clean licence for quite a few years. It just was a bit spooky, all these threes coming up, but if you could give me a general reading, I'd appreciate it. I've never heard anything like this before. I've heard it on the radio.
Well, in terms of where you are at the moment, I see that life has been somewhat erratic this year, but there has been progress. But you seem also to have had a tendency to overspend.
That's me all over.
But what I would say is that I think this is something that you're going to need to look at, because otherwise it is going to cause a problem for you. It is going to cause a problem for you. See where you are. Right. Next year is a year when you're going to have to deal with the details a lot and work your way through things. Do you deal with the public in your work?
Sorry?
Do you deal with the public in your work?
Well, I'm not actually working at the moment for the first time ever, but I suppose most of the jobs I've done, I've had some kind of dealings with the public.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's an area that suits you best. I mean, you're somebody that needs contact with other people because it creates a stimulus for you. What I think that you've got to be, in terms of the work situation, there is the possibility that you'll be able to do something about this next month.
Really?
Yes, I think you can find a solution to the work situation next month. However, I'm not saying that it's going to be an easy job. It is going to be a job that's going to take a lot of effort, and as I said, you're going to need to keep on top of all the details financially next year. You need a budget, and you've got to stick to it next year, Russ, otherwise it's going to cause you a problem. However, once we get through 2007, things will begin to pick up again for you. But you need always to remember to try and keep a balance, because you do tend to be a bit erratic emotionally from time to time, and that does tend to lead you into problem areas. If you deal with the details next year, you'll get yourself a new base, and then things will be easier from then onwards.
Thanks very much indeed. Good luck, Russ. Patricia's in Swindon, Craig's in Glasgow, and Madeline's in Hertfordshire. So, who's next? It's Patricia in Swindon. Hello, Patricia.
Hello.
Hi, I've got Daniel Strafford here, personally.
Yes, hello, Daniel. I
Hi.
spoke with you a couple of days ago on the phone.
Oh, yes.
Yes. My date of birth is 6th of the 12th, 44.
Right.
And
was there something that you specifically...
Well, how can I explain? A lot of problems in different things.
In different areas at the moment. An awful lot seems to be coming to a head at the moment, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Is there some concern about finances?
No.
You've got that sorted out?
Oh, yeah, it's really me, I've been quite a bad bat for a long time, and I've started making cards, which, everything I do, you see, I don't think everybody's better than me, I can't...
Well, I think that, as far as your creativity is concerned, I think the aspects are quite good. I think that it's purely a matter of pushing forward with these things. I do think that there's been this last 12 months has been a time when you've tended to feel somewhat depressed at times.
Very much so, yes.
And down. But what I do think is, as far as this is concerned, it's to do with the aspects around you. And once your birthday's on the 6th of December, so as far as I'm concerned, once we get to about, what would I say, around about mid-November, this heavy aspect, this thing that's made you feel heavy and low and depressed and so on, will begin to move away. And I'm not saying that next year is a great year. I'm saying it's a better year, and it's certainly, you won't feel so low, you won't feel as though there's the whole world on top of you, and you won't have these irritations and aggravations around you that you've had in the last 6 to 9 months. In other words, you're beginning to move away from this phase, but we've got to get to Oh, I suppose about the 16th of November before we start to see the improvement. So it will get better purely because this thing that's been weighing you down in the last 6 to 9 months or so is going to pass away. So I'm much more optimistic that once we get to mid-November or so, you're going to feel a bit better.
Thank you, Patricia. This is talkSPORT. Daniel Strafford's here talking about you. And yeah, all through the science of numbers. It's extraordinary, isn't it? When you first started doing this, Dan, you retracted to it as a subject. Did it ever strike you that it would be something that will stay with you through your life?
Well, it was a hobby because I had that accident and I was laid up for a long time, and I wanted to do something that was going to interest me, and everybody seemed to be doing the tarot and the astrology at the time, and I thought, no, I want to do something different, and I came across a book on numerology, and the rest is history, as they say.
Yes. World famous. Someone said it tonight. It must be true. Craig's in Glasgow. Hello, Craig.
How you doing?
Oh, we're okay. I need to have a date of birth from you so we can get started.
It's 7th of July, 1982.
Okay, and what would you like to ask, Dan?
Just basically a general idea of what's going to happen soon. Because
Right.
I've had a bit of a bad time over the last...
Yes. It's been especially tough for you since June of this year, hasn't it?
Yes.
Mark you, I'm not saying that the earlier part of the year was much better, but it's been very tough. The good news as far as that is concerned, Craig, is that it's about to ease. I mean, you've got something around you at the moment that is making it seem extremely heavy. It's not quite as bad as it seems. You can sort it out. Just work your way through it. Once we get to next month, it's onwards and upwards. The more time that between the beginning of October and mid-April next year, you will find that things will turn around in quite a substantial way. The things that are holding you back will clear away one way or another, and that will lead you to having freedom. And for you, freedom is quite important. One thing I want to say to you, Craig, because it struck me as being quite important when I look at your numbers. You're somebody that needs to be patient and let things come to you. Now, I know this is not easy to cope with because you're somebody that perhaps wants to get on with things. But what I would say is that if you can be patient, you'll find that things come to you out of the blue. You might sit in a trough for a long period of time, and then all of a sudden the phone will ring or you'll meet somebody and things take off suddenly. And when it takes off like that, it can be really exciting for you. And I think you're about to hit one of these periods quite soon. And you will find that things will turn around quite dramatically over the next 6 to 8 months. So there's a lot to look forward to. Don't allow things to get you down. Try and be positive and optimistic, and you will find that when things start to move forward, all of a sudden it'll be different. I mean, it really will be dramatic. So you've got that to look forward to. I quite like it.
Thanks very much indeed, Craig. Madeline's in Hertfordshire. Hello, Madeline.
Hello, Mike. Hello, Dan.
Hi.
I've got Dan here. He needs to have a couple of snippets of information like your date of birth and what your first question would be.
The 26th of the 1st, 45.
Right.
And my question really is, I've just retired, and how will my money situation be? And then a sort of a general.
Yes. So the finances are just sort of being sorted out now, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Well, this will be finalised either. If it's not finalised this month, Madeline, it'll be finalised next month.
Yeah.
So, and I don't see this as being a major problem. But there's been some difficulties about all of this, hasn't there? Has there been a complication or something?
Not really, not yet.
Oh, well, that's good. Then, has there been some other complications around you? Because it looks as though there's something around you that isn't simple and straightforward. It's almost as if there's been some deception in some way.
No.
Well, it's there. So it's important that you're aware of it. Be careful.
Okay.
Be careful about what people are saying to you. In other words, if they, to come back to this pension thing again, when this comes up, make sure you read what they send you carefully.
Yes.
Make sure that the details are right, because things might not be quite as simple or straightforward as they seem.
Oh,
right. Now, having said that, next year is a year when things are still being finalised in your life in some way.
Yeah.
If you're thinking of travelling, it's quite good on that level.
Yes, I am thinking of travelling.
You're thinking of going somewhere long distance?
Well, not necessarily. Perhaps Tenerife or somewhere like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say to you, take these trips, enjoy them, but see them as just something, as a passing phase. The time to make up your mind about how the balance of your life is going to be is going to be 2008, because that's when the new phase begins for you. Next year is still a finalisation of what you've been doing in the past. Once you get into 2008, that's the period of new beginnings, and so that's the time when you should be looking and thinking about what you want to do with the rest of your life. At the moment, you should be enjoying the time that you've got to yourself, and doing the things that you want to do. You can make plans, but don't make any final decisions till 2008, because life is going to change quite a lot over the next 18 months or so. But, I can't see, as far as I'm concerned, the more time that goes by, the better, in the sense that you've got opportunities to do lots of different things in the future.
Thank you very much, Madeline. Enjoy the time off. When we started talking this evening, Dan, you made the point that things are happening around the world, and this obviously alters the complexion of things for people, because in different levels, at different points in the development of the planet or the involvement of the planet, so different influences start to affect all of us.
Yeah.
So we've got, what would you say, as a result of comparing your appearance with us last week and comparing with us now, what would you say was common about this week that wasn't apparent last week?
Dramatic changes, dramatic events. I think there's got to be more this week, Mike. I think there's other stuff around, and as I said, the thing that concerns me most of all at the moment is this emphasis on finances. There's a lot going on that we don't see at the moment. It's there in the background, and I'm sure that something important about the finances, the world finances, and in finances of major companies around the world, that kind of stuff, is going to come to light before the end of this month, and in some way it's going to have an impact on all of us eventually over the next 18 months, 2 years.
Daniel Strafford's with us, talking numerology. It's fascinating stuff, isn't it? Thanks, by the way. If you'd like to be in touch